All right, let's talk about syllabus sweep. Collect and open every syllabus for each class that you're taking this semester. Then put every major due date into a digital calendar. Google Calendar is great for color coding and making easy adjustments. And you want to focus on anything that's submitted or graded. So quizzes, response papers, group projects, midterm papers, midterm exams, final papers, final exams. Enter these as all-day events using a specific color for each class. If you're using a paper planner, enter these due dates on the monthly spread so you can see everything at a glance. Now, something that I do is I put down my to-do list for these classes on my calendar as well. So I take a deadline for a class and then I start working backwards on all the things that I need to accomplish, the steps that I need to take in order to do well on this particular exam. And I place those things directly on my calendar, not just separately on a to-do list. I would do both. It really helps then to look back and say, oh, okay, I have this deadline and these are all the things I got to get done. And now they're on my calendar. Which leads us to our second strategy, which is weekly time blocks. If you haven't heard of this before, don't worry, it's straightforward and can really help you stay on track. So what is a time block? It's simply a set period of time that you schedule in your calendar specifically for studying outside of class. So you can decide when it happens, right? You'll put it in your calendar and then you protect that time like you would any other commitment. So it's like a sacred time for you. Unless there's an emergency, you're not focused on other things during that time. You're focused on studying for that particular exam. Why does this matter? A lot of students struggle to reach the GPA they're actually capable of. And often it's because they're not putting in enough time outside of class. Not because they don't want to, but because life gets busy and studying is easy to push aside when there's no immediate deadline. Time blocks solve that problem by giving your study time a home in your schedule and making it a priority. Here's a good guideline. So for every hour you spend in class, plan on 2 to 3 hours of study time on your own. So if your history class meets twice a week for an hour and 15 minutes each, that's about 2.5 hours in class. You then want to schedule 5 to 7.5 hours that week for studying. I know that sounds like a lot, but spread it across 7 days and it's less than an hour a day. Once you schedule these time blocks, treat them like a class or an important appointment, like we talked about. Treat them as sacred time. It's not optional, right? Again, you can move them around if something comes up, but keep those total hours as much as possible. And if you end up finishing early, now you've got some free time to do something else. You want to use your time blocks for things like reviewing class notes, completing readings for the next class, meeting professors to ask questions, working on papers or projects, meeting with a tutor, studying with a review group, and doing homework to be submitted. So let's discuss. Think back to last semester. In classes where you stayed consistent with preparation, how did that feel? How might you now build time blocks in your schedule this semester? So take a moment to reflect, and then you can discuss with the partner or share in a group. And the good news is that setting this up takes about an hour at the start of the semester. But once you do it, you're done. And you just have to adjust, as you go.